Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a few days, or closer to a week now, since I've done a video. Uh, been a little bit busy, had to take care of some things, but I'm gonna do my best to get back into doing these videos. I want to do them more on a daily basis. So I'm gonna start digging into more topics to see what I can make some content out of and hopefully, get some conversation started around that in the comment section. Um, but anyway, so today I would like to do a video for equality of outcome versus equality of opportunity. These are 2 points I'm sure a lot of you have heard about all over the news. I want to go over the definitions of them, maybe some pros and cons of both. And the purpose is not to change anyone's mind, really. It's just to flesh these out and see, you know, what each one offers. I believe that whatever your stance may be, you shouldn't need to convince anybody else to believe what it is. If you require validation for somebody else to make your stance seem legit, then I don't think that's something that is good personally. I think it means you need to reevaluate whatever your stance is. I mean, if you have a solid stance on something, really any subject out there, you shouldn't need anybody to validate your point. That validation should come from within you. But let's dive into this. I think from what I've observed, it seems a lot like equality of outcome is more a politically left ideal, and equality of opportunity is more of a politically right ideal. So let's go ahead and start with equality of outcome and its definition. So, equality of outcome is a state in which all people have approximately the same material wealth and income, or in which the general economic conditions of everyone's lives are alike. All right. So, my understanding of that means that essentially the goal of equality of outcome would be that everybody has exactly the same income, exactly the same house, exactly the same car. Everybody ends up at the same finish line. And I will leave my personal opinion out of it. I'll just continue on with the pros and cons of each. So the pros, and this is based off, I've gone to a lot of places that are pro equality of outcome for their pros, at least, so that I can see what their perspective on is, what they see as a pro of it. And as far as cons of it, I try to, both go on there, what they would see to be a con of it, and also people that don't vibe with equality of outcome would say is the cons. So one of the pros of it is inequality of outcome breeds inequality of opportunity. And as near as I can tell, that means they believe that without inequality of outcome, you can't have equality of opportunity. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I got from it. One of the cons reduces people's willingness and motivation to excel at what they do. Basically, I guess the thought behind that is that if everybody gets the same regardless of their effort, why would somebody push themselves if at the end of the day somebody who worked maybe half as hard as they did still gets the exact same that they get? And I can see that there's a point to that. it would be hard to stay motivated if you see that other people get the exact same as you. Maybe feel like you're carrying their weight for them. I could see how resentment would come from that. So another pro says, in a society with unequal outcomes, the poor suffer more than rich. I think, and again, I'm not. I think it's a blend of my opinion, basically, with my observation of it. I'm not trying to speak negative of either. It's just like my impressions of what it is I just read. So as far as that pro, I mean, I think with either one, unfortunately, there's no perfect solution. And unfortunately, the people that are on the lower end of the spectrum as far as wealth or status always inevitably suffer more than those who have more. I mean, to be completely honest, that's life. Life isn't fair. Cons: achieving equal outcomes for all negates rewarding people based on the merit of their contribution. Near as I can tell with that one, seems pretty self-evident. It's like, if you work really hard and you do really well, as I said before, it really doesn't matter, because somebody else is still going to get exactly what you get. There's no reward. There's really no desire to try more. Almost like, that's why there's a first, third, and, second. I forgot to throw in there, but, gold, silver, and bronze medals. There's hierarchy in that, but there's also drive in that for people that have a good motivation and a good mindset. I mean, a lot of people often look at defeat as a bad thing, but for me personally, defeat can be a good thing. It depends on your mindset. It makes you, that uncomfortable feeling makes you want to push past it, and you want to do better so you don't have to feel that feeling anymore. And you want to do better. So I think if you take that away by just giving everything the same to everyone, nobody's going to do better that way. It's just going to be, mediocre. All right. Let's see. Another pro would be, it should be they believe that equality of outcome should be prioritized over equality of opportunity to decrease the risk of violence and conflict. So I don't know when they worded that way if they were meaning it like, if people don't all get the same thing, that it's going to lead to inevitable violence like we have now, or if they feel like, if it's not, I don't know. It seems more like they think there would be more violence unless everybody has the same. They think if everybody has the same, then violence just goes away. But I don't know about that. Let's see. Cons: only possible if the state violates the property rights of its citizens. That one is that's probably going to be a big issue right there, because the only way to ensure that everybody gets exactly the same is to take away from others that have too much. And I think it's subjective to decide who has too much, because it's like, well, who's deciding who has how much? Who is the person that gets that power to decide, hey, this person has too much, so let's take his stuff and give it to other people. Let's hang him upside down and empty his pockets and give it to everybody else. That's obviously my opinion in there some, but I can see the point in that one. All right, a pro. If the state ensured all individuals had equality of opportunity, people would be free to do what they love the most with their time. So it is their belief that if everybody has exactly the same, that nobody has to try to do if they don't have the stress of wondering if they're going to make it to the next month from, not having enough money to keep their home. But if everybody has the same, then they have a home regardless. So maybe if all that stress is gone, they're free to pursue passions rather than survival. And again, I think that goes along with lack of motivation, where I think a lot of people would become even more lazy and even more not motivated. So I think you would see a lot of people just not really doing much of anything. They would just waste their lives away doing nothing, because they know no matter what happens at the end of the day, they still have a roof over their head. They still have food. Somebody else is doing the work, and then they're going to benefit from it. So I don't know if I could agree with that one personally, but all right. Cons. Objectively defining, measuring, or achieving equality of opportunity is impossible. And I can see the point in that. Again, it comes to, well, who gets to decide what success is in that instance? Like, who is the person or group of people that say, you know what, okay, we've divided it up, everybody has exactly the same resources, or you know what, because a certain group of individuals have benefited for quite some time historically, we're going to make them have less because they obviously don't need as much to go. So I don't know. I don't think that's the route forward. Okay, let's go one more pro. Since everyone is born equal, the state should ensure all citizens have equality of opportunity. And to that, I would say that for me, it is my belief that physically we're not all born equal. Under the eyes of the law, we have equality. Under the Constitution, we have equality. But there are physical inequalities that cannot be overcome, by and large. The majority of men are physically stronger than the majority of women. This is a fact. There are outliers, obviously. There are women who can beat up some men, but it's not the majority that can do that. Now, that doesn't mean that men are superior in any way, because there are many things that women are superior to men at. Let me back that up. Does not make them superior either. We just have our strengths. We have the things that we're good at, and they have the things they're good at. We're supposed to complement one another. If we were exactly cookie cutter the same, how would we complement one another? So, and the final con for that: force is required to ensure equality of outcome against those unwilling to comply. And some examples of that is when the USSR was still around, China, Venezuela, North Korea. Um, yeah, there are inevitably going to be people who are not cool with everyone taking away their stuff to give it to other people. Um, so unless you plan to have the government hold down people and shake them down and take their things from them, which is going to get violent, that doesn't seem like a feasible um, ideal. Um, all right, so let's go to equality of opportunity. So, the definition of equality of opportunity is a state of fairness in which individuals are treated similarly, unhampered by artificial barriers, prejudices, or preferences. One intent of this is that it's important in jobs and organizations. Jobs should go to the person who is most qualified rather than going to someone for arbitrary or irrelevant reasons such as exterior features or circumstances of birth. Yeah. Basically, if you're competent and you can do the job, it shouldn't matter whatever your exterior features are or what you were born. You should be able to get the job. I mean, it seems self-evident, but so one of the pros of that is promoting competition. And I would agree with that. It is competition gets a lot of negative connotations at times, but competition is also good because I think that's where you get people to start developing better and better abilities at things instead of mediocre abilities. And when you get the best people in the job, production goes up, productivity goes up. I think morale goes up because life is less stressful when you have somebody in charge that knows what they're doing. Yeah, basically making sure that everybody gets a chance. There's nothing that prevents people legally or in a business sense that would prevent you from having the opportunity to apply for a job or do what it is you want to do. Now, that doesn't guarantee, like with equality of outcome, it doesn't guarantee that you will get that position, but it gives you the chance to try. One of the cons, not everyone rises to the top. Again, as within life, I think that's one of the hard things people have a hard time accepting is that not everybody can be the best at everything. Not everybody can be the best at most things. A lot of people are mediocre, unfortunately. And it'll has a lot to do with mindset. There are certain, other issues, whether you have a, physical difficulties achieving goals. But it's just life. Not everybody gets to be in the top position. Like, I will likely never be in a top position of anything, but doesn't mean I shouldn't try. But it's just the reality of life. You could either sit there and fall apart because you can't have everything you want in life, or you can just still try and then, If you don't make it, try harder next time. Uh, Pros: rewards the competent and hardworking. Yeah. Again, like in competitions, there's first, second, third place, fourth, fifth, and that's I've been first place in some things in my life, and I can tell you it is a great feeling. And it's not a great feeling, and when I come in last place, it's a terrible feeling, but it also pushes you because you don't want to do that next time. So yeah, it does drive you to work hard and become more competent at things. And I think that's the thing, is that a lot of people assume that if you're not competent, right away at something, that you'll never be competent at it. I think uh your ability to be competent in something is developed over time and trial and error, and you have to work at it. People don't just come onto the scene and they're completely like the best of the best right away. You have to work at it. And I think that's part of the problem, is a lot of people don't want to work at it. They have a desire for instant gratification. They want everything now. They don't want to have to work hard for it. And that's just not reality. Cons: discounts socioeconomic difficulties. Uh, I don't know that it discounts them. I know it's aware of them, but I don't think that they use that as a bar. That they acknowledge that that is a hurdle people have to pass, but still, it's, everybody has adversity in life. That's part of life. You need adversity to overcome it and develop and evolve as a person. Pros: jobs are given to the most qualified, merit based. Yeah, I mean, if I'm running a nuclear power plant, I want the person that is the best at that. I don't care about their exterior features. I just care that they can do the job well. Cons: some counter this argument, saying it ignores that merit has to do with privilege. Ah, yes, privilege. I think, to be honest, I think a lot of people have privileges in their life. Um, a lot of times we're not aware of them. But I think blaming somebody for a privilege that you perceive them to have isn't helpful. And I think you're blaming them for something they may have had no control over to begin with. So oftentimes, I mean, I've been guilty of it myself too, where I'm jealous of somebody that I see that has more than me, and I think, man, that person doesn't deserve all that. Look at them, they're an a-hole, or what have you. But I also didn't take into account everything they had to do to get to that point. I just assumed that they just had privilege, and that they just got what they just were born with that. And no, oftentimes you're seeing the end result of years and years of sacrifice and hard work. And that's one thing I had to accept, as I grew older, and acknowledge that, that person likely put a lot of hard work to get where they are. So, pro: meritocracy attracts the best of the best. Yeah. Um, there are people that are not always the best of the best that try to be, but I think that is, I don't disagree. It's pretty straightforward, and I think, again, You want the best of the best, and I think anybody wants the best of the best working in their field. Con, apparently, is maintains the status quo. Um, I don't know if I agree with that one. I think when you have people constantly competing, things get better and better rather than just staying the same. I think status quo would be more of a con for equality of outcome. Because if everybody has the same, then nobody's getting any better. They're just all have the same and it's static. So another pro. Removes legal or professional roadblocks that impede everyone having the opportunity. Yeah. They seem to a lot of people seem to think that, choose the equality of outcome, that people with equality of opportunity are still preventing people from achieving success. And what I would say to that is that they are giving, everybody has the opportunity, but nobody's guaranteed the outcome. If you do your absolute best, you may still not get the outcome you want, but that's life. You don't always get what you want. Some counter it, saying it doesn't account for different starting points. We all have different starting points. Some people have far more struggle than others. Is it fair? No. Is life fair? No. Does it mean you can't succeed because you've had more struggles than others? No. It often comes down to mindset. If you think that because you have all these burdens that you can't overcome, that, it's just, why even try? Because, that's a losing attitude. And I know a lot of people would say, oh, well, you probably don't know the struggle. And I'm like, I'm not going to say I've had the most struggle of anybody in life, because I haven't. There's people that have struggled way worse than I have. And there's people that I've struggled way harder than. That's just, it is what it is. Sitting there and wallowing in self-pity is not going to make your situation any better. You have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and keep it moving. I don't know. That's really my thought on that. But and one last pro. It requires people to be motivated and generates desire for success. And that is very empowering. You can look at it in a negative way and think that it takes away from people, but my thought is that pushing people to be better is a good thing. That shows that you really care about somebody, that you would want them to do better for themselves. And when someone really achieves something after they've worked hard for it, when you get whatever your goal was, it just means so much more to you after you've earned it. You want to hold on to that like crazy. Whereas something you're just given, you don't appreciate it as much. You take it for granted. You're like, well, I'm just always going to have this. But something that you have to earn and that you have to keep earning, man, you're going to want to hold on to that forever. But so, yeah. And then a final con. Those who lack desire and motivation will find themselves stalling, likely not to take responsibility for their actions. And really, that's just self-victimizing. It's self-defeatist. It's really just not a good way to be. It's not a good look. So yeah, that's that. Again, I didn't say this to try and convince anyone one way or the other whether they should, you know, go quality of outcome or equality of opportunity. Um, I would say there's probably some to both that have good merits, and uh, I don't really agree with it, quality of outcome personally, but um, there are some points in there that I'm like, I have to think about a little bit, but mostly I would agree with equality of opportunity, but that's just my mindset, and it's really just, you know, again, everybody gets knocked down in the dirt, and everybody has moments where they're real low in their life, and it's easy to look up and see someone that's higher up on that mountain and look at them like, hey, how is it fair that they're up there and they just get to enjoy all these things? And I would say just try and look at it maybe a different way, that, hey, man, look how far that person's gotten climbing. Um, Use it as motivation to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back to climbing and get back up there, because the longer you stay down in the dirt, the longer it's going to take you to get up to that point and catch up with them. And maybe, just maybe, if you work hard enough, you can pass that person. But it's never going to happen if you just allow yourself to remain defeated. And again, personally, I think everybody deserves opportunity. Everybody deserves to be able to try. But there's no way to guarantee that everybody gets the same result. It's just never going to happen. But that's going to do it for this video. Looking into more topics to do for other videos. I would love to hear from all of you in the comments, if there's anything you would like to discuss, any topics for future videos, critiques, arguments. I'd love to hear them from you. And I ask that if you did enjoy this video, that you would please like and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to hear from you all again real soon. Thanks, everyone.